Hey guys, in today's video you're going to be learning why your poker career has stalled and what you can do about it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Adam Carmichael and I'm a mindset performance coach. Over the past 2 years, I've worked with hundreds of poker players from 26 different countries, playing all formats from online MTTs to live high-stakes cash games. So I'm in a unique position to know what works for poker players and what problems they face on a regular basis. Now in today's video, I'll be talking about why most players get stuck, why they get stuck in a certain situation and their careers stall, and what they can do about it to get out of it. So if you're one of those players who's had some success, but things aren't quite going to plan right now, you haven't been able to progress on, this video is for you. So let's walk through the poker journey to some degree, how poker players generally get started, where they get to, and where they get stuck on their progression. So most poker players get into poker either in their teen years or early 20s. They start to have an interest for the game. It's fun, it's exciting, they're curious about it, and they start playing for fun, competition, and yeah, because they enjoy it. Now, if you're good at it and you get decent at it during those early years, you start to think, oh, wait a second, maybe I can make a bit of money playing this game. Or maybe you earn a bit of money in the short term, which keeps you going and wanting to play more. If you're in your early 20s or teen years, earning a bit of money from poker can be enough to go, you know what, I'm going all in, I'm going to take it on as a career and pursue it. If you're a bit later in the game, like mid-20s, early 30s, you're generally going to be more conservative. You might have a job that you've got on the side, or you've got full-time and poker's on the side. But anyway, you'll figure out a way to earn money through poker. Now, as this progresses, you start to earn more money, and you start like, oh, holy shit, this is a very lucrative game. There's loads of opportunity here. You have big dreams of playing the high-stakes games. You watch all the high-stakes cash games on YouTube, and you're like, oh, I want to play these games. I want to be financially free. I want to go to Vegas and play all the big tournaments and win bracelets and have all the glamour. And you have all these dreams of playing like the highest stakes. And you get to a point, you do good, and you start to earn enough money to cover your living costs. So you keep going. It might take a year or 2 years, and you feel comfortable with your living. You're like, yes, I'm earning enough money with poker. Now, poker is obviously very stressful. Income's never guaranteed, so you've always got a little bit of stress. And then once you've got that level covered, you earn enough to cover your living costs, the next level is earning enough to have a good lifestyle, a comfortable lifestyle, one where you're not as stressed about work, you're not as stressed about poker, you're not worrying where each paycheck's coming from. So you get to this great point where you've got a great lifestyle or a good lifestyle through poker. Now, this is where most people get stuck. This is where most poker players stall in their careers and their progressions. It's in that stage from earning enough money to pay the bills and earning enough money to live a good lifestyle. Somewhere in there, a vast majority of poker players get stuck. And I'm going to teach you guys today why that is and what you can do about it. So let's just carry on the narrative. So like, some players who earn a good living, they then go on to the next level and start changing their life with the game in terms of financially, traveling the world, having great opportunities, and some go even further and just like completely change their life with the game of poker and create everything they want financially, bracelets, whatever success achievements they want. So what's the difference between those who get stuck in the just making a living / a decent living and those who reach the very top? Is it talent? I'd argue not. Having worked with hundreds of poker players, I can say talent is not that high of a factor, and there's so many learned attributes and characteristics of a poker player that talent doesn't really cover it. It gets you so far, but generally if you've got to a level of playing poker for a living, you've got enough talent. So is it work ethic? Work ethic is definitely a variable. The guys who make it to the top definitely work hard, so I would say that is a factor. However, if you've been able to make poker for a living, you've done what 99% of people haven't been able to do. You've generally had a good work ethic. You've worked hard to get there, and I think work ethic, you can improve it and get to a high level. So I don't think it's work ethic that stops you either. So what is it? The way I've seen it, I've observed this with many poker players now, it comes down to motivation. And it's motivation and it's how you view the world and how you drive yourself based on motive. So let's have a look at it. When you're first in poker and you're enjoying it, obviously you've got that kind of honeymoon phase where it's all just fun. But then you transition into doing it for a living and making some money, but you're driven by survival. You're driven by earning enough money to live off, fear of have I got what it takes. For my first 2 years, what drove me was earning enough money to cover my living costs so I didn't get kicked out of where I was staying, and proving to myself and my friends and people around me that I could do this. All that self-doubt that was building, can you do this? Every time things went badly, I was like, oh, is this the end, Adam? How am I going to get enough money to pay for stuff? So that was what drove me. So it was all about survival for me to keep me going for the first few years until I got enough money. And this is what drives a lot of poker players. That's fun, wears off for a little bit, and then survival, earn enough money to live off. Now, what needs to happen if you want to get to the higher levels, when you get stuck in that kind of earn enough money to live off but not to go to the next level, you get stuck in that phase, stuck in the survival mentalities, and you don't find a way to transition. So what you've got to learn to do, you've got to transition from having survival that drives you to having thriving mentality. So thriving mentality and thriving motivation is based on you wanting to become the best version of yourself. You've been competitive either with yourself or those around you, and you really wanted to be the best that you can be, to grow, to improve, and to get better. Now, if you don't transition from using survival, like stress, the high cortisol levels, the kind of adrenaline, the pressure of being a poker player, if you don't learn to use a different fuel source, you get stuck here. So this is what most players do. They'll end up stuck in this kind of just earning enough stage. When things go bad, they're not earning much money, or their living costs have gone up, or they haven't got much money to live off, they'll put in a big work period. They'll really, really grind it out to get back to profitable, and then they'll sink down again. Problem is, when you're in this zone, you're trying to maintain what you have, and your habits are really slack. Your routines are slack. You're not learning the way you should do. You're not putting the study time in. You're not growing and improving. And as a result, the poker market's getting more and more competitive. Those around you are improving because you've got loads of hungry players who are getting better, and you get stuck. Now you start going, well, what's going wrong? And what you've got to do is you've got to basically realize that what got you here won't get you to the next level. It won't get you to the next level. So it's all about the mind. You've got to switch that focal point to, okay, I've got to this point now, what's next for me? And if you don't move the goalpost, if you don't set the target bigger, higher, something that inspires you, motivates you to keep pushing, something around thriving, so like I said, personal growth, achieving financial freedom, being able to travel, exciting things that push you on to the next level, you will get stuck here, and you will stall, and you will think you're trying to maintain, but slowly but surely you'll be creeping backwards. It's almost like parking parking your car on a hill. You're thinking it's stationary, but it's just creeping back just a little bit. Your handbrake just can't hold it, and it's creeping back. So you get guys who are in this situation, you need to realize, okay, you need to change your mindset and change from survival mindset to thriving. So if you look at how the brain works, when you're in survival mindset, even it's like, say, covering the bills, earning enough money to live off, it's very easy to be motivated because the brain's just like hardwired for it. You almost got this adrenaline, cortisol, you've got like all these stresses that cause you to take action. Now when you remove those, let's say you're in a good position, you're earning like 5K to 10K a month, you've got a good lifestyle, you now remove all those like kind of short-term stresses. Now what's going to drive you? What's going to get you out of bed in the morning? What's going to get you to put that 3-hour study session in? It's not survival anymore. That motive's gone. It took you so far, but it's gone now. The fuel for that's gone. So you've got to change it. You've got to switch gears and start thinking about thriving and getting new goals, new motives, and new things to take on. So this is what I work with players every single day. I teach them how to change that mindset from just getting by to what's the next big goal? What's the next big objective? Where can we improve? And when you start thinking about thriving, the amazing thing about this mindset switch is once you go from surviving to thriving, you now start to set the bar higher and you start to act in accordance with that. So if you're trying to survive, you're generally like, oh, just do enough, get out of bed when I want to, do some grinding, bit of studying, very slack. But if you set big goals and big targets and it's all about thriving and being the best you can be, you start making changes in your life that correlate with that. All of a sudden you start thinking, oh, I should probably go to the gym and look after myself. You start thinking about how you can organize your days for max productivity. You start getting curious about the mind and how to optimize it. You start thinking about where your faults are, which are holding you back. And you start growing and growing and growing, and you grow as a person and as a poker player to this new objective around thriving. So if you're stuck right now as a poker player and you've stalled with your poker career, start thinking about what's the next challenge you can take on. What's the next thing you can start working towards? Are you still stuck using survival motivation, which is kind of running out for you? And is there a way to start switching that and start thinking, okay, wait a second, instead of using survival as fuel, can I use thriving and creating financial freedom? All those dreams that you had when you first started out in poker, all the amazing things of financial freedom, traveling, having freedom of location, of time, all those things that you dreamed of. Why don't you start going for those again? Why don't you start tapping into those bigger dreams and start creating life in line with that? So this video right here is for you poker players who are stuck right now. I admire you for getting this far, for being professional poker players, for taking on what looks like a glamorous occupation, but at times is tough and there's a lot of self-doubt, a lot of worries. This is for you guys to get out of that rut. Don't accept the low standards. Start trying to switch your motivations and getting into that thriving zone. Once you're in that, you start making improvements and you start back on that upward projection and things start to get interesting very quick. So thanks for watching this, guys. If you did enjoy this video, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and there's going to be plenty more content coming from me very soon.